Welcome to FEMA's Public Assistance Program webinars, presented by FEMA's Public Assistance Training Section. This is a live webinar of the Virtual Site Inspection for Applicants webinar series that was offered December 2020. For more information on these topics and many others, check out FEMA's Grants Portal Support Center. And for any supporting materials discussed in this unit, check out the Damage Information and Inspections folder under Applicant Processes in the Grants Portal Resources tab. You are about to watch the first video in this virtual series. This part will introduce you to the public assistance site inspection process and key pieces of the virtual site inspection process concept.
So today we're going to cover two main objectives. What is the purpose of a site inspection? And also, what are virtual site inspections? So throughout this presentation, you will see icons in the upper right-hand corner, such as the ones on this screen. These will help provide context as we talk about the different kinds of site inspections that are now a part of the public assistance process. So we're going to start with that sheet of paper. That sheet of paper designates a tabletop site inspection. The webcam designates a remote site inspection, and the road cone designates a physical site inspection. So again, you will see these throughout today's presentation, and just know whatever icon you see on that slide, that information is specifically geared toward that type of site inspection. So FEMA uses a lot of acronyms throughout the public assistance process. Here is a list of commonly used acronyms and their definitions. We have PA, which stands for Public Assistance. We have PDMG, which stands for Program Delivery Manager, and this will be the main point of contact for you throughout your public assistance recovery process. We have SI, which stands for Site Inspection or Site Inspector, interchangeable depending on the context of the discussion or topic. We have SIR, which is short for Site Inspection Report. And the Site Inspection Report is the template that FEMA uses to gather the necessary information while on the site inspection. We have WOR and WO, which are scheduling functions in both Grants Manager and Grants Portal. WOR, Work Order Request, is the first step in getting the site inspection on the books, and it's how the site inspection is scheduled in Grants Manager with the site inspector once you, the applicant, and the Program Delivery Manager have decided on a time. At this point in time, the Program Delivery Manager will send that request to the Site Inspector Task Force Lead. It's like, hey, this is the time that works for us being the applicant and the Program Delivery Manager. Is it good with you being the site inspector? So once that's confirmed and the details are ironed out, it will become a work order, that WO, work order. And this is where all the details of the site inspection will be held. We also have DI, which is damage inventory. And this is your list of impacts to your community. You also might hear DILI or DILI. That is a damage inventory line item, and that is talking specifically about one particular line item within that list of impacts. We also have DDD, which is damage description and dimensions, and it's just what it sounds like. It's the DDD is what the site inspector writes up based on the site inspection report, and it is a description of the damages that you have identified. And this is what the Consolidated Resource Center bases their scope of work and cost off of. So next we will conduct a site inspection overview. So what is the purpose of a site inspection? The purpose of a site inspection is to capture and record the description and dimensions of disaster-related damages. And this can be done through one of the three methods: a tabletop site inspection, a remote site inspection, or a physical site inspection. So as you see, we have a flow chart here on the screen. So within the public assistance delivery model, the site inspection occurs during phase 2 as highlighted. And a number of things that happen under phase 2, including that site inspection. Inspection required. So when damaged facilities with work to be completed require site inspections. So the work required to restore the facility back to pre-disaster condition is less than 100% complete. For example, let's say your damaged facility is a baseball field. You have 3 different damage components, including perimeter fencing, a scoreboard, and the stadium lighting. So your scoreboard is 100% complete and repaired back to pre-disaster condition, but your fencing and your lighting have not yet been repaired. So that makes the damaged facility less than 100% complete and a site inspection is required. So site inspection reports. So you as the applicant can download site inspection reports from the Resource Center and Grants portal for use in documenting your damages or as a reference to make sure that you have captured all the required information related to your damages. We will be reviewing site inspection reports in depth in this SIR and documentation training, but at this time I would like to show you where you can find these reports in Grants portal. So you should all see my Grants portal screen. I am using Grants portal demo, but this will look the exact same in Grants portal live. So if you do have a Grants portal login, you can go ahead and follow along with me. Okay, so I have signed in to Grants portal. I'm at my dashboard, and you'd want to go to our support center. So if you come up here to the upper right-hand corner of your screen, and you see this question mark icon, and when I hover over it, it states support. We're going to go ahead and click on that. And once we click on that, another window will populate, and you could see this is our support center. Again, we have resources, so once we get to the support center, to locate our site inspection reports, we're going to click on resources. This will then open another window. From resources, we have a number of subfolders here. We want to go to applicant process. So once we click on applicant process, we're going to scroll all the way to the bottom, and we're going to locate that subfolder for damage information and inspections. So we'll click on damage information and inspections. And then from here, you see we have our site inspection reports. To download the site inspection reports, you would just click on this hyperlink here. You will either get something similar to my screen that will populate on your desktop here for you to open the file, or these will automatically download to your file folder, your download section. So if you open your file folder and you go to downloads, they should also be there if they don't automatically populate. From here in our file folder, we have all of our site inspection reports. Yes, there are a handful because we have a site inspection report for each category of work, as you see, A through G. We do not have category B, which is our emergency protective measures, as that we generally do site inspections for permanent work. So you won't see a category B. In addition to all of our categories, within each category, sometimes we have more than one site inspection as well. So that's because our site inspection reports are geared specifically toward that particular facility type. So if you look at our category C, we have one for bridges, we have one for culverts, and we have one for roads or low water crossings. Same thing for category D, and so on. So in our category G, we're looking at beaches, mass transit, parks, recreation, or cemetery. Category G is also our catch-all, so it could also encompass an other. So if you have a facility that does not fall within one of these other categories, it may fall under our category G as other. So keep that in mind. So I just wanted to show you where you can locate those in our Grants Portal Support Center. So public assistance has two types of site inspections. We have our physical site inspections, which is our standard in-person inspection that is conducted in the field. And then we have virtual site inspections. This is a newer concept developed due to the current pandemic. Our virtual site inspections are broken down into two smaller categories depending on applicant experience and available resources, as well as the type of damage. So again, FEMA has introduced two types of site inspections that fall under our virtual site inspection umbrella. On the left, we have our tabletop inspection. A tabletop inspection is that applicant provided all the necessary damage related information to FEMA to validate. So a tabletop site inspection is beneficial as it allows you, the applicant, to take control of your recovery process. Then on the right, we have a remote site inspection. And this is a site inspection performed with you, the applicant, over an external meeting technology such as Zoom, FaceTime, Skype, etc. And the information for the site inspection report is shown by you, the applicant, through that external meeting technology, and a FEMA site inspector captures that information on a site inspection report and then inputs that information into Grants Manager to develop that DDD, or that damage description and dimensions. So why virtual site inspections? Well, first and foremost, safety. The pandemic has caused FEMA Public Assistance to reevaluate how certain tasks within the traditional public assistance program are completed. As I'm sure most of you can all relate to at this point in the coronavirus, FEMA is encouraging applicants to complete virtual site inspections as much as possible, which again allows you as the applicant to take charge in your own recovery process. So what is a tabletop site inspection? Again, we're going to discuss this a little bit more in depth, but a tabletop inspection is when you, the applicant, complete your own inspection, either utilizing those site inspection reports or your own documentation, and provides the damage description and dimensions to the site inspector to validate. You will go to your damaged facility during your own time and record the facility description, the cause of damage, identifying specific damage components, take measurements, document the material type, provide a method of repair, gather the GPS coordinates, and plenty of photos to provide to either your program delivery manager, which will pass them on to the site inspector to validate, or you can physically upload those documents into Grants Portal yourself. Remember, we're validating for completeness and accuracy. So what is a remote site inspection? A remote inspection are inspections performed with you, the applicant, and a site inspector over an external meeting technology. Again, this could be something such as FaceTime, Skype, or Zoom. Currently, our preferred method is Zoom. So during a remote inspection, you as the applicant will be at the damage site communicating with the site inspector. The site inspector will be asking questions and completing that site inspection report throughout the process. And the site inspector will assist in guiding you, the applicant, and the discussion to collect and record the specific damages sustained to that facility. So at this point in time, I am going to show you guys an example of a remote site inspection. This is just a brief overview to give you a little bit of exposure to what a remote site inspection would look like.
Okay. Hey, Chris. I'm Joe Marmello. We spoke on the phone yesterday. I'm here to inspect, well, you're here to help me inspect the damages. And just want to check over a few things before we proceed, just make sure I have it right. We're in a facility here. Can you grab me a GPS, please, of where we are right now?
Hey, Joe, sure thing.
Thank you.
All right, so over here right behind the dugout, we are at 43.187303, negative 70.883418.
Okay, let me just double check that. 43.187303, negative 70.883418.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and we're at Woodman Park, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
This is the wayside dugout.
Okay, the wayside dugout, thank you very much. When was it damaged?
January 1st, 2020.
Oh, Happy New Year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and do you know the age of the facility?
I believe this was built in 2000.
Okay, and that's your exactly, that's exact, or is that approximate?
It's exact.
Okay, thank you. And is it your legal responsibility?
Yes, sir. This is owned and maintained by the county.
Okay. Now I have some information already down here, and I'll just kind of see if you feel this is accurate. Woodman Park, it's located near Woodman Park Elementary School. I have 11 Towle, Towle Avenue, Dover, New Hampshire. It's approximately 9.4 acres, equipped with a standard baseball field, playground, full-length basketball courts, two of them, 4 standard tennis courts, and they're used by both the Woodman Park Elementary students and Dover community members. That sound like it's pretty well described there?
Yes, sir. That sums it up.
Okay, cool. Now, could you point me to the first area of damage, please?
Okay, so I'm going to turn my video on over here. And basically, the storm came through and took off some of these shingles on top of the dugout here. And Dan and I were out here counting, and there's about 24 that are either missing or torn up.
Okay. Now, let's take a look at those damages again. I'm going to need if someone could get me you said 24 shingles?
Yeah, the 3-tab units.
Okay. 24 shingles, 3-tab units. And that's throughout. I'm going to need some pictures. Is there someone there that may be able to take some pictures? I know we have it on video here, but some still pictures?
Yeah, we'll get Dan on that.
Okay. Thank you, Dan.
Where would you like the pictures from?
Well, I think that kind of right there. That's perfect. If you can get a little closer or focus in a little bit more, kind of do half and then do the other half and then maybe the whole thing. As close as you can get with, being able to see the shingles.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Now, if I'm not sure we can, with a lot of pictures, we might not be able to do this, but if you could send me one or two of those through email, and while we're doing this, I'll have someone look at them and make sure they're okay. If that's not possible, that's fine. Could we get some measurements of the structure?
Sure.
And if you need more clarifications on that, that's, well, obviously not, because you got that right there. Very good.
Okay, 22 feet 4 inches long.
Okay.
Want to go on top?
Come out 10 feet 4 inches.
10 feet 4 inches on top, wide.
Okay. Thank you. Could you get a pitch on that? Is that possible?
Estimate. Pitch.
Yeah, you can kind of estimate that for us. It's just hard to tell through the video.
This is Victor. You could also measure the horizontal distance from the front 6x6 post to the rear, and that'd be a horizontal distance because you already got the hypotenuse, the slope distance. Just to get the horizontal, it would be less than the slope.
Okay, so that is a brief example of what a remote site inspection looks like. Okay. So when are virtual site inspections performed? Virtual site inspections are performed when the facility did not sustain major damage, but is above our small project threshold. Virtual site inspections may be performed when the applicant can provide an insurance adjuster's report or a contractor's damage assessment report that separates pre-disaster damages from damages caused by the disaster, or you as the applicant can delineate this information. So that means if your facility had some sort of damages prior to the event that were not caused by the event, that you as the applicant or your reports can delineate what was damaged prior to the event and then what was physically damaged during that event. Virtual site inspections may be performed when you have the ability to conduct your own site inspection independently of FEMA. So that's that tabletop inspection we're talking about. Or you can walk FEMA through a site inspection remotely, and that's our remote site inspection. Virtual site inspections may be performed if you, the applicant, has never been with FEMA on a physical site inspection. A remote inspection is a good option for guiding you through the site inspection process, so you know exactly what information FEMA needs to complete a site inspection report. Or, again, for that tabletop, you can reference our site inspection reports on Grants portal on that support center that I showed you earlier, and all the information being requested on that form is required to complete that DDD, and so you can reference that for the required information. Virtual site inspections also may be performed if there is connectivity at the site. So we want to make sure if we're doing those remote site inspections that there is connectivity available, if there are no environmental historic preservation concerns at the damaged location. Keep in mind, like I stated earlier, as we have here on the slide at the bottom, a remote inspection could be best when you as the applicant are new to our public assistance program and you've never attended a physical site inspection before. So let's talk about physical site inspections. So our physical site inspections are FEMA's public assistance traditional in-person inspection type. For those of you who have participated in the public assistance program in previous disasters may have been involved in our standard physical site inspection process. Physical site inspection involves a FEMA site inspector to meet you, the applicant representative, at the damaged facility to document the damage description and dimensions. Keep in mind, these, of course, are not removed entirely from the table. We are encouraging virtual site inspections at this time, but physical are still being conducted if necessary. And they may be deemed necessary and safe by disaster leadership, the recipient, and or you, the applicant. So just keep in mind that open line of communication will have to continue when discussing the potential of a physical site inspection. So when is a physical site inspection performed? Well, a physical site inspection may be performed when disaster leadership and the recipient determine a physical site inspection is required. When you, the applicant, provided documentation cannot be validated and that you are unable to perform a remote site inspection. So if you do not have documentation or you are unable to collect and record the documentation on those site inspection reports on your own, and you don't have the connectivity at a site because maybe you lost cell towers, maybe you're in a very rural area, and a remote inspection may not be substantiated, then a physical site inspection may be performed. Damage is considered specialized or complex. So this means if you may have major damage to your facility, a physical site inspection may be performed. Physical site inspections may be performed if insurance or damage assessment reports are not available. So if there's nothing that can help substantiate that damage for that site inspector to validate, a physical site inspection may be required. Physical site inspections may be performed when a facility has significant environmental historic preservation issues or concerns and require it to be viewed in person. So an example of a scenario that might require a physical site inspection may be a power plant. The damage may be too extensive or technical for you, the applicant, or an ordinary FEMA site inspector to properly document all the damages, and therefore FEMA may decide to send a specialist to the site to document the damage physically. So here we have applicant resources. Again, I've showed you once where that support center is in Grants Portal, and we located our site inspection reports. I'm going to return to Grants Portal, and I'm going to go show you a little bit more resources that are available to you for this virtual site inspection. So here we are at my dashboard in Grants Portal. I've already logged in. And I'm going to go to the upper right-hand corner of my screen to that question mark icon that says support when I hover over it. I'm going to go ahead and click the question mark, and it's going to open a second window. When it opens this window, we are here at the support center. I'm going to go to resources. So click on resources and another window will populate. From resources, I'm going to go to applicant process. So click on applicant process, and then I'm going to scroll all the way down, and you see a folder that states damage information and inspections. So within this subfolder has a great deal of information related to the site inspection process and the virtual site inspection concept to assist you as the applicant. So as you see here, I've opened our damage information and inspections folder. Again, we have a great deal of resources. We have our applicant information, damage information, and inspections document. So I'm going to go ahead and open this. This is a document that we go over in our next training, which with site inspection reports and documentation. I am going to give you just a brief purpose of this document. And so as you see, I've opened this document. We have our damage information and inspections. So applicants must provide information to substantiate the reported damage and debris impacts that were caused by the declared incident. This document provides an overview of the methods FEMA uses for obtaining damage information, and it includes checklists to enable you as the applicant to providing complete, accurate, and precise information, as well as preparing for the site inspection. As you scroll through this document, again, there's descriptions of our 3 different types of inspections, our tabletop, our remote, and our physical. As we move down, we have a checklist, our Appendix A damage information checklist. This is, so you just go through here and you provide the information within these boxes. And then if you scroll even further down, we have our Appendix B, which is our FEMA site inspection reports. So this provides a description of each one of our site inspection reports we have. This is earlier. And here, if you click on this grants portal link, this will actually take you directly to that site inspection report zip folder if you have forgotten where to locate that. And then we have Appendix C, which is preparing for the inspection itself. So anything prior to the inspection, after the inspection, etc. So that's there for you to utilize, reference, use. In addition, we have a calculation and conversion sheet. This will help with converting measurements, GPSs. If you don't have a device that your GPSs are in decimal degree format, which is what we require in Grants Manager Grants Portal, then this document can assist you in converting. We also have our damage continuation sheet. This is a document within our site inspection report. So if you need more of those, you can take them from here. We have the Site Inspector Job Aid. Now generally this is for our FEMA site inspectors, but if you want a little bit of insight of what the roles and responsibilities of a site inspector are, which may help you further in completing your own site inspections, then please reference this document. Again, we have our site inspection reports. This is that zip folder I opened up earlier. And then we even have a DDD review checklist. So as you all know, once the site inspection is over, the site inspector will be creating that damage description and dimensions, or that DDD. And once they're done with it, it will go back to the program delivery manager, and then the program delivery manager will send it to you as the applicant to review. And you can utilize this review checklist if necessary to make sure that all of the required information is captured and that it's all complete and accurate. Okay, so those are our resources for you guys in that applicant process folder in our general resources. Our site inspection reports, CHS Office of Inspector General hotline. We hope that you don't have to use this, but in case you do, this is used to report corruption, waste, fraud, abuse, mismanagement, and misconduct to the Department of Homeland Security Office of Inspector General. We have a phone number here, 1-800-323-8603, as well as a mailing address. Moving on, we have our Procurement Guidance, or our PDAT. So to review the FEMA PDAT website for procurement supplemental documentation, you can go to www.fema.gov/grants/procurement. And FEMA's Procurement Guidance is not only for recipients, but subrecipients such as yourself. And it falls under 2 CFR Part 200, Uniform Rules, and provides additional details regarding federal procurement and contracting requirements. And last but definitely not least, for any support or technical resources, you can contact the Public Assistance Grants Manager Grants Portal hotline. Again, we have that call support at 866-337-8448. Our hours of operation are 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. If you don't feel like calling, or if you're outside of the operational hours, you can always send us an email at our email support, which is FEMA-recovery-PA-grants@fema.dhs.gov.